Good morning. So, lockdown lunch. I originally planned 2 recipes. We'll see how we go. Then maybe 3. But anyway, for those of you who can't make it this morning, hopefully you'll go to the YouTube and watch it later. All right. So the first recipe I'm going to make is, let's get it up on here. Just in my week. Green Goddess Quinoa salad. So first of all, I'm going to put 200 grams of quinoa in here. So the reason we're actually doing this is because I was meant to be doing a cooking experience on Saturday, and then with lockdown, didn't happen. I'd already actually prepped some of the stuff. So 200 grams of quinoa. There we go. Next, 425 grams of water. Grab that. Oh, 427. I'm sure that's fine. Okay. Some salt. A little bit of salt here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in. Pepper. And pop the lid on. All right, so it's going to be 11 minutes. It's going to heat to 100 and it's on reverse, so it's not going to chop that quinoa up. And I just have to turn to speed 1. Okay. Preheat the oven. The oven is on, so that's good. Okie doke. So on this one, what I'm going to do whilst that's doing its thing is, again, in my week, I'm going to go for the prosciutto and sun-dried tomato muffins. Now, I have made some already this morning because the reason for this is my sister-in-law came down from Cairns on Thursday to see my mother-in-law and went back on Friday because Queensland was closing the borders. But she told me the sorts of things that she was eating because she's on a particular diet, and one of it was cottage cheese. And I had so much cottage cheese that I had bought 1 kilo. So this is a way of using up some cottage cheese. So again, my oven is heating to 200. That's all good. I've got my muffin things ready to go. So that's all right. 80 grams of Parmesan cheese. So I've got my 80 grams in here. Just pop that in there. 2. Pop the lid on. 10 seconds, speed 9. Okay, so basically I'm going to leave it. It's telling me to transfer 2 tablespoons into a small bowl and set aside. So I'm just going to take a little bit out. So there's my cheese. Pop a bit out like that. So there we go, roughly 2 tablespoons. That's just going to go on the top of the muffins. Then leave the remaining Parmesan in the mixing bowl. 60 grams of buckwheat groats. So this is a gluten-free recipe. So these little buckwheat groats are going in, 60 grams of that. And this is really, I was quite impressed with this, I have to say. Insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid. I'm going to go for 1 minute on speed 9 to turn that into flour. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what this looks like because I was seriously impressed. Look at that. Amazing. Really beautiful fine flour. It made me reminded me of a customer of mine who makes rice flour in their Thermomix, and she said it's better than any rice flour you can actually buy in the supermarket. So so that's got the cheese in it and that buckwheat flour we've now made. Oh, hang on, ahead of myself. 200 grams of almonds here. They're all going in. Bring it on again. 10 seconds, speed 7. Now, it doesn't tell you to do this, but I am going to scrape down the sides. But when I made it this morning, and I ended up mixing everything up, so I've just got, there's all the pieces in there. I did find that there were some bits that were still at the bottom. After I've added in the liquid ingredients, I just gave it a bit of a stir, which I will do again, but that will just loosen it up and make it a little bit easier to use. Now, 3 sprigs of basil. So that's actually, just leaves only. So I'm just popping those in. Throw a little bit of grit or something there. So get rid of that. 80 grams of sun-dried tomatoes cut into pieces. I think it's a little bit under, but that will do. Meanwhile, my quinoa is, I don't know if you can see the steam, that's steaming beautifully there. 300 grams of cottage cheese. So I bought 2 big tubs like this for my sister-in-law because she needed it as protein for a diet. Anyway, so we're on, just tear that, we're on 0. One tub down because I used 300 grams earlier this morning. And dig into this, and I will actually go on Cookie Do and see if I can find anything else that I need cottage cheese for. Probably don't need a 3rd batch of these. There we go. All right. 1.5 teaspoons of gluten-free baking powder. 1.5. 100 grams of water. Now, I know this is called a measuring cup. This is one of the times when I do actually use it. It does have a little 50 ml measure mark there and 100 ml the other side. So I'm just going to fill that up to 100 or thereabouts. And put my water in. Oops. There we go. It's going to dry off the screen there. Very smart. Okay. 5 eggs. I've broken all those up here. That was the other thing, she needs lots of eggs, so using up some of the eggs as well. 1 teaspoon of salt. Actually, I'm not going to put the salt in because I actually just tasted one of the ones that I made earlier and it's quite salty, so I'm not going to add that. Put my lid on. 20 seconds, speed 4. All right, so this is where I just checked it this morning, and I felt like I'm just going to go around the sides because there are a few little bits that are stuck on there, and I just want to make sure that we are all mixed up, and that's much better. Just scraping around with all those dry ingredients has made a big difference. All right, so I'm just going to leave that there for a minute, and move back here. The next thing is just lining. So these are I bought these ages ago. They're actually sitting on it's just a tray, a silicone tray you can get from the mix shop. But these, this is before Thermomix actually had these things for sitting in the varoma. So I actually went and bought some and chopped them all up so I could actually put them in the varoma. But I don't need to do that anymore because I've got ones that do sit in the varoma. But I love them because it's silicone, I don't have to grease them. So what I've got to do is line each muffin mold with one slice of prosciutto. And prosciutto is not the cheapest thing in the world, so I'm going to show you what I actually do. So I've used some of this. So I buy the prosciutto that is in a big piece like this, and I have to use some of this as well. But then I cut it in half. And then what I do is just separate them out. Which it says, funny these things, you've got to be a bit careful how you pull them apart. Cut them in half. And then I just literally go in one direction there and the other direction there. So that's what I need to do. I should have prepared some of these before. I was on a meeting and I forgot. Tell you the truth, so quickly do these. They won't take too long. It's very simple. I'm not going to fiddle around. I think with some of the pictures, it looks like maybe they go round, but they're I think they're the long, thin bits of prosciutto, and I just find this a lot easier. Go, keep going. So, so it actually tells you to get 2 packets of prosciutto in the ingredients, but actually, if you do it this way and you get this thick stuff like that, you actually only need 1. But I had, because I was making a whole heap, and I actually had some prosciutto, so I've got to find another recipe that uses prosciutto and cottage cheese. Wow, it's always something. All right, I'm just going to keep going with the other, just so we keep moving. So we're just going back to we've got our quinoa in here. And now it's telling me place the varoma dish in position. I've already weighed in. It's asking me to put in some edamame beans. These were frozen, but I've already weighed them in. I know that's about, well, they're a little bit more than what it said, because that was going to use up my packet. So I've got my beans in there. Ensure some, holes. Yeah, holes. So you always got to make sure that you do make sure there's some holes that are still free and it's not totally covered over. 4 minutes, varoma temperature, speed stir, reverse again because we've still got our quinoa in there. Okay, meanwhile, back to the muffins. On to the next lot of prosciutto. There's that. Just going to cut that in half. There's actually needs half of it. I'm sure you can do however you like to do it, but this is what I've just found easy and works for me. So just keep going, putting these in different directions across here. Four left. And we've also got a cooking experience on tomorrow night, so Tuesday night, if you've got anybody you want to invite. Because of course there's host rewards if you would like another thermo server or the bread mats, if that's something of interest, then feel free to bring along a couple of friends. And join us. So tomorrow night we're doing 30-minute meals. So I think that's quite a good, relevant one to do. Okay. So I've lined all those. I'm just going to get rid of this. Just pop my prosciutto back in the fridge as well, quickly. Oops. All right, so there are my muffins. My muffin molds all sort of filled up. And then I've literally got to pour this mixture in between them. So and I know they can be quite full because when I did it with the last lot, I had to come back and put some more mixture in there. With the basil, I think it's easier if you've got smaller leaves, it's better because, or chop them up before you put them in. Otherwise, you're going to have some muffins that have got great big chunks of basil in them and some that don't have any. And also, just in regards to the cottage cheese, I have a husband who doesn't like cottage cheese. He had no idea there was cottage cheese in these, so it's not. It's just a, you know, part of the mix. Whoops, that was a bit full. I seem to have made more this time around. I don't know how I've done that. Oh. Make another one out of that. I'll sort that one out a bit later. All right, and then I'm going to just sprinkle with the reserved Parmesan. So I've got that cheese that I had. Just gonna put some on the top of each of them. A bit full. They rise up really well too. Just getting the rest of this cheese out. Might as well use a lot. Okay, they are going in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. So just popping them in. Okay. So now we're coming back to our green goddess salad, quinoa salad. Next, remove the aroma. So I've got, remembering always with your aroma, sorry, I should have just turned this up a little more. Always turn it away from you so that the steam goes away from you with that lid. Pop your lid down, then pop your aroma on there, then any drips will actually drip onto the lid. So I'm just going to put that aside for the minute. It's saying transfer the cooked quinoa to a large serving bowl. So there's the quinoa. And I'm going to use my beautiful white thermo server. So this you can use for yogurt. Oh, need another spatula. So this one is a 2.2 litre thermo server, so it will actually fit in your baroma if you want to make yogurt in it. There's my quinoa going in. All right, so I'm just going to leave that to just with the lid off so that can cool down a little bit as well. Okay, stir with spatula, separate grains. Yeah, sure. Oh, come on. Add the cooked edamame beans to the bowl with the quinoa. I'm going to peel those obviously first, so I'm not going to do that just yet. Clean the mixing bowl. So I'm just going to give this a quick little watch it out. place a bowl on. I'm just going to dry this. My pins are dry. Goes on back on. Just dry my lid. We've got trees being cut back in the street today. Place the bowl, mixing bowl lid. I'm just going to see what they're going to actually put in there. Oh, I know. Hang on. Next. It's actually weigh into the bowl 200 grams of kale. Now, I'm not going to do this because one of the other things that my sister-in-law needed was leaves. And I bought baby spinach and kale. So if what's going to happen with this, you're going to just basically roast a little bit of the kale, but mine's all mixed up together. So I'm going to get wilted spinach and crispy kale. So I've decided to actually skip that step, and I'll just add that into my salad. So tender stem broccoli is just your broccolini. And I put it on one of these mats. This is from, I think it's Seed and Sprout or something. So it's one of these mats. It's a bit like our thermo mat, but I'm trying to use that just for my breads and things. And this is silicone mat, so I can just pop it on there. And I'm going to put a bit of oil on there. And hard lengthwise. See, I didn't even read it properly. I just and I decided I wanted it more bite-sized than they were saying anyway. So I'm just going to put a bit of oil all over it. Okay, and then I'm going to drizzle with olive oil, sea salt and pepper. And I'm going to pop that 10 to 12 minutes in the oven. Okay, so moving on from there. Now I've lost my done with that. Stylus. 1 fennel bulb. So it's 1 fennel bulb, 20 grams of parsley. So I've got my fennel in the bottom there. I've got my parsley here. Oops. And 5 grams of mint. So I'm going to pop all those in. See, that's going to be a lot more than 5 grams there, but that's everything mixed up together. Pop the lid on, the measuring cup in. 6 seconds, speed 5. Transfer to the bowl with the quinoa. That's all just chopped up finely. Pop that in there. Oh, I'll tell you, it smells amazing with that mint. It's so fresh. Okay. Right, 50 grams of pomegranate seeds. Now, I did cheat because I was going to do this at a cooking experience a bit easier. But you can actually, with a pomegranate, you can cut it in half or into quarters. You can pop it in your Thermomix, speed 4 seconds, speed 4 reverse, and it will actually spit out a lot of these pomegranate arils. Then what you need to do is obviously pick out the big bits of the pomegranate, but then just put some water in it and you'll find that a lot of the pithy stuff will float to the top. But anyway, I've cheated today, and this is 75 grams, but I'm using a lot because otherwise they're going to sit there and do not a lot. So all of those are going in. 30 grams of apple cider vinegar. 10 grams of lemon juice. Okay. 20 grams of olive oil. 10 grams of maple syrup. My husband bought this a while ago, but it's not off, so, oh, hang on, what's happened there? Oh, just pour it out of here. Oops, too much. Might be a little bit sweet. Concentrating on, I don't have sumac, so I'm leaving that out. Pop my lid on. 3 seconds, speed 4. Stir the roasted can of broccoli into the quinoa mixture, then garnish with 25 grams of pumpkin seeds and 25 grams of sunflower seeds. So I've got those mixed up here. Now, I'm not going to complete this just yet, because but I've got my seeds all weighed out there. And then serve with the pomegranate dressing. So there's the pomegranate dressing there. Smells amazing. I'm going to leave that on there for a minute. I'm going to take this off. We've got to wait for the broccolini to finish roasting. But that's going to be, going to add the broccolini to that. That's going to be our salad with that dressing on it. But in the meantime, I'm going to pull out another bowl and use up some more things that are in my fridge. I've also got to do this edamame, so I will do that when I've got this next thing going. All right, so we've got the sun-dried tomato muffins, prosciutto and sun-dried tomato muffins cooking in the oven. Oh, and I'll show you what they actually look like when they're finished. So they are beautiful, and you can actually just have a look. See how the prosciutto still, it's sort of, it's not all the way around, but it's actually keeping it, so it's almost like it's sitting in a little cup. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is going to go into recently cooked and find Thai green broccoli and spinach soup, because I've got things to use up, as I said. So I'm just going to get this going as well. So I have here, lurking in the bottom, I've actually got 3 garlic cloves, but they're the little teeny ones. So I've got 3 garlic cloves. I've got my onion that I've chopped up here. I've got some ginger there. I'll put that in. Put some of these things in whilst I'm going, just to clear it out for the rest of it. So you can see the rest of those little garlics lurking at the bottom. 1 stalk of lemongrass. So it says tough outer edge, remove, core bruised and cut into thirds. I cut it finer because I still find it gets a little bit stringy. So that's all going in. And my chili. Half a teaspoon of cumin. Here. A teaspoon there. Half a teaspoon of cumin. And 1 tablespoon of tamari, which is just gluten-free soy sauce. So I'm going to do a little guesstimate on my tablespoon. That's about it. 6 sprigs of coriander, just leaves and stalks only. So I'm just actually going to put these leaves in here. Pop them on. One minute, speed 10. noise, you sound like it's doing much. I think it's too fast. And sometimes you find that if it's too fast, look, it's obviously chopped up a bit there. But I think we need to just have it not quite as fast, because if it's so fast, it pushes everything out onto the bowl. So I'm going to put the lid back on. It's just a question of listening, and, you know, as you get more experience with the thermix, you can hear. So it's not really chopping all that well. I know I'm going to blend it later. I'm pretty sure I am. So let's just check 3 dots, recipe detail. Yeah, I'm going to blend it later, so I don't think that's an issue. Continue. All right, done that. Scrape down the sides of the bowl. Down. Just like that. One broccoli. Now, I only had a small bit of broccoli, but I've got my broccoli in here. That's going in. It says insert the spatula through the hole of the mixing bowl lid, which you can do, but my broccoli is not actually all that big. Remembering that with your collar on here, that's absolutely what you can do. I will put it in. 5 seconds, speed 5. So that's chopped it all up there. I will just push that down. Sides. This is actually a really delicious soup too. So I was quite happy to have to make this. Not have to, but to choose to make this out of ingredients that I had. All right, 180 grams of baby spinach. Okay, that'll do. Actually, I haven't got much left. I'm going to put it all in. It really needs to be used. And my broccoli was a little bit light, so I'm going to put that in. I went to the supermarket without my my own little shopping bag, so I had to use one of their plastic bags, which I don't particularly like doing, but I also do find that it doesn't actually your broccoli, your spinach and your leaves don't stay very fresh unless they're in plastic, which is a bit annoying. 400 grams of coconut milk. Got the Iron Brand. The Iron Brand coconut milk is 100% natural. Just having a look on here to say ingredients: coconut kernel extract and water. So it's good. There's no additives and preservatives in the Iron Brand. It's a bit of a scrape to get all those bits off the lid. Okay. Next, 500 grams of water, filtered water. So I'm just going to pour 500 grams here. Oh, spot on. Okay. Next, 1 teaspoon of stock paste. My veggie stock. That in the top. My lid on, and that's going to cook away for 15 minutes. Super simple. All right, so let me make a little bit more space. I'm going to now shove these edamames here. also just going to quickly check that broccoli. A couple more minutes in the oven. I'll just quickly do these. There's a really nice dip with the edamame beans. It's what's it called? I think it's like a bean dip. It's in. I'll see if I can find it in a minute. Oops, the wrong thing's in the wrong place. And it's got feta in it as well. It's in the book, which is Festive Flavour, and it's got broad beans. It's got going everywhere. Edamame, peas, pea and bean dip, I think it is. And you put feta through it as well. It's really delicious. But, anyway, whilst I'm doing this, if you've got any questions, Glenys, you are welcome to come off mute and ask them. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep podding these, a few of them too. Okay. Just thinking, guys, so tomorrow night we're doing our 30-minute meals, and we are making easy chicken satay. We are making, I'm doing steamed salmon with broccoli pesto. One of the girls is doing risotto verde, and we've got Tom doing something with us, which is great, and he's doing beef stroganoff, beef and mushroom stroganoff in the PM6 version. So I think that would be really good. You've got 4 really simple meals that you can knock up in 30 minutes. And open to suggestions. The other thing I might do, either, I don't know, I still don't know if I'm going to work or not today, so find that out. But at some point I'm going to do some chutney, and I'll probably just go live on Facebook with that. And also some dog biscuits. I've just got one more thing to prep for that. I've got to cook a little bit of pumpkin, and I'm going to make some dog biscuits because I've given the recipe for a long time ago and I haven't made them yet. So the intention was to get them done last Friday because it was our dog's birthday, but it didn't happen. Too many things happening with work and sorting out patients. We had appointments cancelled and so on. All right. Oops. Probably about halfway through these. They take a little bit of time to pod. What else can I tell you? Oh, there is an Easy Essentials class on next Sunday. I'm not involved in that at this stage. It's my husband's birthday that day. But the Easy Essentials class, if you haven't done one, is they make butter and buttermilk bread and the cooked mayo, which I just love. And what else do we have there? Oh, coleslaw. So it's about a 45-minute class. It's a good one to go along to. And there are other people, I think I posted in the Facebook group, other people doing things today and over the next couple of days as well. So like you joined something yesterday, Glenys, you know, Jani's doing something at 4:30 today. If you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs, hop on. All right, talking about twiddling thumbs, my thumbs are working very hard here to pop these out as quickly as I can. Whoops. So could have got one in your mouth then if you've been close enough. All right. Oops, another one popping out that way. Just going to pull that broccoli out. The last few beans. It's going to be a very green salad. Nice, healthy. We'll look at the nutritional bits of this as well. Just a sec. Literally got half a dozen of these left to go. Yay, last one. Whew, right, get rid of all that. All that for that. Anyway, all part of our salad. So those are going into our salad. Give that a little bit of a stir. And I'm going to add the broccolini in there now too. So I'm just going to put this in the top here. So that's been roasted. Remember, our kale would have been roasted as well. But I've actually, it might not be a big enough bowl. I'm going to add a bit of kale in there in a second as well. Checking on my muffins. They're still going. And kale. So the thing with a bag is it's not ideal, but what it does mean is you can recycle the bag. So you're probably all over that. Right. So it's not going to fit an awful lot in there. I'll just see if I can just give that a little bit of a turn around. I think I need a bigger bowl. Lots. Even just tipping it over into here, I think might mix things up a little bit more. Even that's not really big enough. All right. More of the kale mixture on there, kale and spinach. So it is a very green salad. I'm actually just going to use my hands. So what this tells me is you could make this for a lot of people. I'm going to sprinkle some of the seeds on, like we said. Let's give my hands a quick wash. And then the dressing. So remember, we've got our pomegranate dressing in here. Just going to put a little bit of that on the top here. It's actually very pretty. Leave a little bit left. All right, so there's the green Goddess Quinoa salad, which I think is very pretty. It smells amazing too. I've got to just move a couple of things so I can get the other muffins out of the oven in a sec. A few things to coordinate this morning, keep things tidy. Okay, we've got 6 minutes on our soup. Muffins, check the muffins. The muffins are nearly done. Muffins need a couple more minutes. So we've got 5 minutes on the soup. The soup's really simple. I will just take it. I've shown you what the muffins look like anyway. I'll just show you again. Whoops. There we go. So one of these with the salad, or maybe with some of the soup. That's a really good lunch. With the soup, all that's left to do is literally do that blend. Remembering always, when you're blending something hot, you start off about speed 4 or 5 and you slowly turn up. That's it really. So I think we've covered with these muffins, you could either do salad or soup with them. So they could be a great thing for winter. They can be a great thing for summer. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. I'm just going to stop the recording.